is how smart women turn their expertise into high ticket offers. How smart women turn their expertise into high ticket offers. Now, I'm so excited to have the opportunity to talk about this subject because this topic has changed my life and it'll change yours also. I'm Mia Redrick. For those of you who are just meeting me, it's nice to virtually meet you. I'm a business consultant and I privately advise women who are smart, sharp, 10 years, 20 years of experience or more, highly educated as to how you can take and leverage your background, your gifts, your talent, and your wisdom into a high value product that you sell online or offline. You know, over the last 20 years, I've been in business for 20 years. I've always worked from the comfort of my home. I've had the opportunity to literally coach and train women and teach them 900 of them personally. Tens of thousands of them have used my systems. And I'm so excited to have the opportunity in this window, this short window today, over the next 60 minutes to explain to you how you can do this also. How easy it is for you to go to market as yourself, all of the experience you already have. You don't need another certification. You don't need another degree. You don't need to do anything other than take what you already have, hard skills, something you've trained for, okay, or a soft skill, something that you've lived through, gone through, and you're on the other side and you have a level of expertise and others can stand on your shoulder and learn from you, your shoulders. So let me just say this, because I know that there are so many people talking about packaging what you know. But here's the difference in this webinar today. And I want you to stay over the next 45 minutes to 60 minutes because that's going to be different for you. That's going to be the game changer for you. The blessing of being able to package what I know and how it's impacted my life is, one, I've been a full-time entrepreneur working from the comfort of my home for 20 plus years. I've had clients do some incredible things. Many of my clients, they themselves are also free full-time entrepreneurs who've been able to replace their income because of what I've taught them and how I've been able to work with them over the years. Many of them, for the very first time, have changed their models, going from a model of, let's say, $100, $150 an hour, $250 an hour, to selling what they do based on the transformation for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 or more per client. Many of my clients, when they first got started, were struggling with being in a place where they couldn't hit 10K months or 20K months or 30K months or more and sustain it. Many of my clients wanted or had the goal of getting free, but they had a limited idea of what freedom is, right? Like they thought they'd take more vacations and that's what freedom is. And I think one of the things that you're going to learn over the next 45 minutes is that I look at freedom differently. I've had the opportunity to coach so many women over the years via private advisement, and we've created so many results that my clients literally have shared what those results and transformations have been. And I will share a link with you at the end of this live so you have an opportunity for yourself to see the hundreds of results and transformations that we've been able to create. So I want to put you at ease. Today's webinar, for those of you who are just joining, is how smart women turn their expertise into high ticket offerings. And that's all we're going to talk about. A high ticket offering is something you sell for $2,500 or more. On average, most of my clients sell things for $10,000 or more. And I want you to understand that what you know is exceptionally valuable when it's packaged the right way, when it's packaged properly. So we're going to break it down. Here are the 4 topics. I've got my note cards of what I want to cover over the course of this live. Number 1, we'll talk about how to identify for yourself what you already know that is already a premium offer. I guarantee you that you are sitting on a gold mine right now. And maybe it's just some level of competency that you have that you've taken for granted, and not even realize that someone will pay you right now as a coach, as a consultant, as a trainer, or via licensing for what it is that you already know. I'm going to break that down. Number 2, I'm going to talk about how to package your expertise into a high ticket offer. Because a lot of times I meet people who believe that they are packaged properly, but they are not. And I'm going to show you something that likely you could do right now as a result of this live, when you leave this live today, that will change the way that you make offers forever. And then number 3, I'm going to cover how to price your transformation, not your time. And that is something that often when we are salaried or we're highly compensated in the workplace, we do not know how to internally determine our value. And I'm going to break that down for you also over the course of this conversation. And then number 4, how to position yourself as the obvious choice. I believe when you understand that your goal is not to sound like everyone else, not to Google search what other people are doing, not to let Chat GPT be your voice, okay? But it's a tool for you, right, to get things done, that you become the obvious choice. My clients always come to me, and they come to me, they have over the years, always found me. I speak from my heart authentically. And now one of the things that's been very important to me in terms of the practice I've been able to build is creating intimacy with my clients. I'm not particularly interested in working with people I do not know. I love my clients. They call themselves giants. I only want to work with smart, sharp, beautiful, highly actionable, spiritual women who are all about changing their life and doing work to make that happen. And if that's you, you are definitely in the right place today. And as your coach and your mentor over the next 45 minutes, what I will tell you, it's very important to me, is that there is a connection. Because I think when when you're hearing your coach and your mentor, whether or not there is a connection or not. And to me, that's really important. There's not a client that I've worked with who has hit goals in the huge ways that I don't know about, even in small ways, small being, their first 5K, their first 10K sale, their first 20K sale. All of my clients, I know their names and they know me too. And that is something that I think is missing today. You're not a number, right? You're not a number. And knowing how to position yourself based on what you bring to the table is really important to me. So this is going to be an interactive webinar. So if you're ready, I want you to write, "I'm ready," in the chat, no matter where you're watching this today. Are you ready to receive? And if you are, I want you to write, "I'm ready." Because in order for you to receive, you've got to be ready. Now, while you are typing in the chat, let me introduce myself from the perspective of sharing my background. When I started my business 20 plus years ago, I came from a background as a corporate trainer. And so I did all things instructional design, curriculum development, purchasing of licensed content, and training the workforce on the content that was purchased. And one of the things that I learned was the foundation that makes and creates great curriculum, great consulting, great coaching for other individuals to create results. I made a decision that I wanted to go to work as myself. I was one of those people like you, highly paid to do a role that I enjoy, but I knew that there was more for me. I wanted more of myself to appear in my work. I felt like I wasn't fully expressed. And maybe you feel that way in your work too, like you like some components of what you do, but then there are other components of who you are that you don't get to dance with professionally. Made a decision to become a coach, and I wasn't really sure at that time what type of coach or how I was going to leverage my background. So the very first thing I did was I hired a couple coaches. And I hired several coaches so I could learn the business of coaching. So lean in here. And every coach that I hired had to be free, working full time from the comfort of their home. Why am I saying this in my story? Because my motto was, if you're not free, you can't teach me. Okay. If you're not free, you can't teach me how to be free. I didn't want to be that the coach that was working a full-time job and running my business as a side hustle, coaching folks. I didn't want to learn from anyone that way, right? I didn't want to build a business that way. And so the very first thing that I did was hire multiple coaches who all were full-time entrepreneurs. And as you can imagine, I've said this, I've worked from my home for over 20 years. And I say that to you because intentionality is important. Somebody write, intentionality is important, because it is. And I see a lot of times people are choosing things because they look alike, But my question has always been, what is different? The other thing that I was looking for myself was results. I wanted to make sure that the people I was learning from could demonstrate to me that not only could they create results for themselves, right? 6 figures or more, okay, multi-million dollars or more, but that they could also transfer that which they had for themselves to me. So it's one thing for me to be able to create success, but it's another thing for me to be able to transfer that to others. And that was so important. And in building my business, I built out my first 7 years a mom coaching business where I had the opportunity to coach hundreds of moms around my best-selling book called Time for Mommy. I had the opportunity equally alongside of building this brand of coaching women around identity who were moms to show up in taller ways for themselves. I had the great privilege to do television at a very high level. I got signed to 2 Emmy-nominated, nationally syndicated television shows as paid talent. As a mom strategist, I equally had the opportunity to do a number of strategic corporate partnerships with large brands like Panera Bread and Great Harvest Bread Company and Corner Bakery Cafe and the Marriott Corporation, just to name a few. And I say this to you because I got started, just like many of us got started, with a dream, but I was very intentional about who I decided I would learn from. And as a result of being able to do corporate deals and having best-selling books and to have had the opportunity to coach hundreds of women initially as the mom strategist, I had so many women that said to me, Mia, I've watched you build your business. I've seen you on television shows, on Emmy-nominated shows. I've done hundreds of media types of things. I've been Ariana Huffington asked me personally to write a column for the Huffington Post. I've been featured in so many publications. Dr. Oz Care was a featured expert there. I've just done some really cool things on this journey. And many of the women have said to me, Mia, can you show me how to build the business, how to build the brand the way that you did? And that is why we're here today. So fast forward, after 7 years of just strictly coaching moms initially, I now only coach women around identity, the same thing I was doing before, but I help them to package their knowledge into a high value product, online or offline, whether you know what the product is, or whether even if you don't know what the product is and you want to leverage a soft skill, I help them to identify the most profitable paths that they can take in order for them to leverage and package their knowledge, and again, to do what you love to do and to be able to operate in that for decades and to be able to do that at a very high level and to create what I call the echo, meaning not only have I been able to create amazing results for myself in my life, but I've been able to watch the echo. My clients do the exact same things all around the world for the people that they serve. So if you're ready to get into this webinar topic today, which is how smart women can turn their expertise into a high ticket offer. Hi there. I think it's Lillian, right? High ticket offer. If you're ready, I want you guys to write ready. And so here are the 4 things I'm going to talk about. And I'm just going to kick off the first. If you don't have something to write with, get it now. Okay, get something now. All right, this is going to be really good. And I'll open up the floor at the end. And if you guys have any questions for me, all right, but it'll be interactive. And the way that I hear you on the different platforms is by you typing here. All right, that's your job. That's your job. All right. All right. So the first thing that I want to talk about is how to identify what you already know that people will pay you premium for. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about. How do you identify what is it? Okay, so here's the thing, and this is probably not what you've been thinking. A lot of times when people come to me and they want to package an offer, or they want to become a coach or a consultant that's high paid, they are always looking for likeness. So they look online. I know if you're guilty, it's okay to raise your hand. They look online and see what everybody else is doing. And in their mind, that's the hot ticket. But I want to tell you, as a mentor who's looked inside of hundreds of businesses over the years, the one thing I suggest that you not do is that. Because the reality is that a lot of times people are really good about branding or building a website, but they actually don't know the fundamentals of how to package what they do at a high level. So let me tell you exactly what to do. The first thing to do is never to build the brand, it's never to build the website, because you could be a highly profitable coach, trainer, a consultant, and not have any of those things. I've had clients over the years. One of my former clients, I'll never forget it, was an HR specialist, literally closed a $40,000 deal simply by being packaged the right way, what I'm going to share with you right now. She never had a website. She had not done any of her branding yet, because you've got to understand that the most valuable thing you have to offer is your knowledge, your background, your education, your experience. It is specifically your ability and capacity to create consistent results at a very high level. Somebody write at a high level, at a high level. So a lot of times when we are packaging, or what the packages that I see, people are packaging things at a very low level. That means that sometimes the things that come natural to you, that come easy to you, is actually what your brilliance is. Does that make sense? And so it's so easy to overlook the things that come natural to you in your genius zone. Let me give you an example, and I'm going to break this all the way down. So for me, I come from a background of corporate training and knowing and understanding frameworks at a very high level, understanding how to take and create something out of nothing and frame it in a way that it provides tremendous value to your audience. So that's my zone of genius. It's something that comes natural to me. So when my clients and I are working together, they often say, "How do you know this? You don't do this kind of work." But it's because of my orientation, because of my expertise. You have something like that too. And it's likely the thing that's coming to you so easy, and it's sitting this close to you. And what I often see is that people package the wrong thing. And when you package the wrong thing, you don't know how to equate that thing to your value, because it actually isn't your brilliance. Does it make sense? Are you following me? Are you getting this, right? So the thing is to remember is that if you want to charge high ticket for what you do, it must be something that you do at an exceptionally high level. And that thing is coming naturally to you, right? Anyway, it's what you just do, and it's the way you just naturally think about it. And what we have to do is identify what that is and then put a structure around it. Are we clear? Okay. Are we clear? So this idea of generic coaching or looking at your peers, this is not the way to package what you're doing. Your goal is to be in a category of one. Somebody write that. Is a category of one. We want to package your uniqueness, and that's going to be based on your education, your experience, the things that you've solved, the clients you've already worked with, right? The things you've already overcome, and you have different insights and nuances around. It's not going to come from you looking like everyone else. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example of how it positions you differently. Sometimes when I'm offering my coaching, I will meet someone via a consult, and they'll say, "Me, I love what you do. I've seen the testimonial reels you have with hundreds of testimonials on them. And this is other coach, and she does kind of what you do. And I was thinking about working with her. I was thinking about, working with you, and I'm just trying to figure out, but she costs a little less." And then I'll say, "Well, if she does what I do, she creates the results that I do, you should work with her." Because what I know is I'm never competing with anyone. I am selling the results that my talent and my brilliance creates. Are we clear? And this is why, if you are a giant in every single way, my clients are giants, right? In your talent, in your skill, and your ability. This is why when you're in your zone of genius, understanding how to package that genius, that uniqueness in a way that it speaks a different language to the clients that want to work with you. That means whether it's a corporate offer, whether that's individuals who want to coach with you and train with you, whether it's licensed material that other organizations want to buy and license from you. Are we clear? Right? So the first thing to keep in mind is, if you want to identify what you already know that people will pay you for at the highest level, it has got to be the highest level result you can create for someone. And that's why the generic prompts using AI, they do not work from that perspective because AI is just going to generate what everybody else can do. But when I'm working with my clients through private advisement and our shared time together in group settings, I help them to identify what is it that they do that no one else is doing. That's the secret. Okay, was this helpful or was it helpful, right? If it was helpful, I would love for you to write me up. That was helpful. The second thing that I want you to keep in mind if you want to turn your expertise into a high ticket offer, the second thing is, how do you package your expertise into a high value offer? You're like, well, Mia, okay, I know the highest thing that I do, but how do I know what I should package it as or into? How do I identify the structure? So here's the first thing. The first thing that we want to consider when we want to sell high ticket things is, and this is the biggest reason why most people don't sell high ticket, while it's a lot easier to sell something for $150, right? You think an hour, because there's no fear. If you want to be a high ticket, sell things for high ticket, you have to work on your own belief. Okay, because in order for us to stand in our value, for you to go from, let's say, making hourly, if you are a therapist, like $150, $200 an hour, and now you're selling things for $20,000 as a bundle, you've never said those words intimately to one client, right? You've never asked for that sale. So a lot of times what trips us up isn't our ability to create the results for the client on the back end. It's having the belief conversation within ourselves to stand in our value. I know that is something for so many. Has that been an issue for you? So you see these numbers, but you're thinking, how do these numbers apply to me? How do I say $20,000 based on what? One of the things that I will tell you that I do with my clients, if you want to package what you do into a high ticket offer, you must always understand why the price is the price, why your price is the price. And if you don't understand where the numbers were derived from, it is the reason why you stumble whenever you go to charge or stand in your value for something that's bigger. And it's the reason why people default back and say they're not buying, or I need to do a beta test, or, it's not working, my market, the offer. I will tell you this also, as I mentioned before, that never copy any prices from anyone online. Here's the reality for someone that has seen so many businesses behind the scene. If someone doesn't know their value and you copy it, you get their unknown value for you. And so what I get my clients to do is to understand each thing that they are offering, the value of what they're bringing to the table. So once they really understand the value of what they bring, their background, their talent, what they've assembled for their client to create results. When they understand that, they're able to walk the client through that sales process because they're not in conflict about how that number's gotten there. They're not thinking in their mind, please don't ask me how I came up with this number because I don't know. And you should know. All right. So that's one of the things that I think is very important when you want to sell high ticket and you don't know how to do that. The second question, which is how to package your expertise into a high ticket offer. Now, high ticket to me means one to many. High ticket to me means that it could be a client that's a high level client, but you only have a few of them that you deliver a massive results for. High ticket offers typically mean that there's a promise, there's a guarantee that as a result of you taking this journey with me, that I am guaranteeing that I can do said things for you. Do you see how number 2 connects to number 1? It's getting clear around what your results are, and that is what the high ticket offer is. It is not about fluff. It is not about a course. It is not about, any of the things that you typically see online. It has nothing to do with that. And I say that because I help women all the time construct offers into high value products. I have a client that just came for a VIP day this past Saturday. And one of the things that she does, she's incredible, her name's Terry, is she helps women start their journey as a real estate investor. And she literally went from zero to building in her net worth multi-millions of dollars. And now she wants to teach other women how to do exactly the same. And so one of the things that we did was look at what her zone of genius is. There are tons of real estate programs out there, but what makes what she does different? And there's so much in terms of looking at her journey and for her to understand that when she got started, she didn't have like a lot of equity to get started with. She didn't have an inheritance to get started with. She started with no money down strategies. That's pretty unique, and was able to go from that and take those deals and then, take the first 50,000 and turn it over to 100,000. And then it just went on. And now her net worth is in the multi-millions of dollars, having started with no money. Pretty unique strategy. And she talks about through her course, all the unique ways that she was able to get started in doing real estate. I want you to hear Terry's story, but I want you to think about your own story, because your own story is exactly that way. Or maybe structuring a high ticket offer could look like one of my clients, Chevelle, is an amazing coach, mentor to young kids between elementary and middle school. She teaches them how to play the game of chess. And as a result of that, they're ready for the game of life. And when she and I started working together, she had a business that was doing roughly $40,000, $50,000 a year. And so she had the right business. She had the right genius, but she wasn't packaged quite right. And as a result of that, she had a cap on her income around $40,000 or $50,000. One of the things that I was able to help her with, lean into this, guys, is understanding who should be the client. Okay, based on the results, based on the fact that her students were winning competitions nationally, based on the demand from other schools who wanted this program, how do we reposition this offer to the right client? And when we did exactly that, she went from having $40,000 to $50,000 years to doing over $500,000 within 9 months of signed deals. Now, I say this to you because I can't guarantee that those will be your results. But what I will say to you, that it starts with knowing how to package the offer right. And sometimes the biggest ways that I've seen clients make the greatest moves is having mentorship, having coaching around that, being accountable or through your fears, because of the habit of how we sell, it's so easy by yourself to talk yourself out of standing in your value. Somebody write amen. Okay, amen. If that's been something you've dealt with before, are you getting value or are you getting value? I'd love for you to write here. Number 3, the third thing that I want you to keep in mind, if you want to turn your expertise into a high ticket offer, the third thing to keep in mind is how to price transformation and not time. So how to price your transformation and not time is something that so many professionals deal with, because you're used to the workplace, you have a salary, you're trading time for dollars. And quite frankly, if you have a salary, you might be working 60 hours a week, getting paid for 40 hours a week, if we just told the truth about this, okay? But because you may be a person for fee, get paid for fees like a therapist or an attorney, right? You are also used to having a set parameter of what your service is, what you can charge for your services. And when we're talking about selling coaching and consulting, that's a whole different ballgame. Because remember, people aren't paying you for your time. They're paying you for your results. Let me prove this to you. Sometimes my clients will call me, and right before they have a transaction or someone that they want to close or pitch to, and we might meet for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and I'll run through the script of what to say and how to say it and what the objections might be, and role play with them in real time. That's why intimacy is so important, right? Because just because someone has a script online doesn't mean that's the script for you. All right. So as a result of like a 20-minute encounter like that, the clients close more. My clients on average, their close rates are typically around 40% or more. And I always tell them 30% or below. 30% is an average. It means out of 10 people, that 3 of those people say yes. Okay. And if that isn't happening, it typically means that it's the wrong offer, or likely the messenger, that would be you, that something we need to tweak in what you're bringing to the table. But what I will tell you, my 20-minute ability to be able to coach a client around what to say, what the objections might be, and things to consider when they're making a presentation allows them to close quickly close the deal to a 10 grand, a 15, a $20,000 deal. Now, here's the deal. I don't believe that we ever practice on the client. You know what I mean? We never practice on the client. And unfortunately, so many people have big stake deals and they don't really have a village in the community that sees them, right? That give them the opportunity to show up prepared and strong and confident, right? How is it if you want to sell something for 20 grand for the very first time, you're practicing the client for the very first time? I believe that if you are in a mentorship, coaching relationship, that community should support you through that, and you get to practice inside of that community. All right. So we're never selling time. Okay. We're only selling transformation, and transformation is, and it's the business I'm in, the results. My clients come to me because of the consistent results that I've created over the last 20 years. Okay. On average, most of my clients have worked with me 3 times. Okay. So the reality is that they come back over and over again, for something new that they work on. They hit that goal. Somebody else comes back and they work with me again. Why? Because there's water, because there's a transformation. Why do people want to work with you? They don't want to work with you because you got a course. They don't want to work with you because you have a program. They want to work with you because you're proven. And they want to work with you because you know that the system that you have that creates massive results, your thing, your proprietary method, your zone of genius, that every single time when you choose the right people to work with, not everyone, the people that you're meant to serve, that they can get a result. And that's the thing. I was saying to clients the other day, I said, I can't think of anyone that I've ever worked with that didn't create a result. My clients, and I don't say this to be bragging or anything like that. I just say it because I have so many clients that I've worked with, and they all have given me a testimonial because they all get the result. Now, if you want to price based on your transformation, that means that you're not going to be the cheapest guy in the room. That means you're going to pre-qualify the people that are coming to you, right? That means that you're only working with people who want results, correct? All right. And that is like the biggest nugget. Is so simple, but it isn't. Most people aren't able to get results for their clients because they are working with everyone. But imagine if we understood exactly what you do exceptionally well, and we became picky. You started to pre-qualify the individuals who have to have the results that you bring. Is this clear? Is this making sense? If this is making sense, right, this is making sense, even if you're watching this as a replay. And then number 4, okay, the 4th thing that I want you to keep in mind if you want to turn your expertise into a high ticket offer is how to position yourself as the obvious choice so that the right people come to you. Now, this is something that I think can be learned, and it's important to learn to do. Now, one of the things that I will say that I see online is that a lot of times people are marketing to everyone, and everyone is just not your client. There are people who need what you have. They have a different level of motivation because they are sitting with the problem you know how to solve. And your goal is not to talk to everyone, like you kind of have a problem and you kind of have a problem. Your goal is to really get clear for yourself on what is it that you do really well, and to learn how to structure and communicate a message to people who you're meant to serve. So, for example, the women that I work with, they're giants. They call themselves giant. That's why they call me the Chief Giant. They are smart. They're sharp. They are highly actionable. They're investment minded. They say yes. They figure it out. They're teachable. They're coachable. And they are spiritually grounded individuals. They love God. And those are the kind of women that I work with. They are very faith-filled. And people who are faith-filled take action. So you got to think about your ideal clients, right? And who are they? When you start thinking about who they are and the kind of results that they want. The women that I work with, they have expertise in tremendous ways, experience, right? What they need is someone that helps them to stand in their value, have agency over what's really great about them, help them to be able to see how to structure, how to package, how to value, how to price, how to sell, how to market, whether marketing is television or whether marketing is print media or whether marketing is social media or whether it's figuring out when you're doing a presentation at a consulting or live event or speaking engagement, how to position who you are and be commanding around that. And be yourself, be 100% authentic as yourself. So when you think about what you do and you talk about who you're for, it really is and has to be something in the realm of what I just shared with you for you. It's not about borrowing what someone else does or says, right? It's really about you owning what is really great about you and being able to attract people who see you as the obvious choice. The other thing is, when we were talking earlier about results and we think about the obvious choice, what I realize is that the people who come to me are looking for results. They're not looking for an entry-level coach. They are looking for freedom. They're looking for someone who is already free, who's been free, who's had the ability to help their other clients become free. I have a client medical doctor, Hilda, who I started working with, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. One of the things that she wanted to do, she was stateside. She wanted to figure out how to first close her practice and start selling what she was doing online. And she moved close to practice, moved to Puerto Rico, and built an amazing business. I helped her do her first 6 figures in business with an online model. How cool is that? See, you want to work with someone that can see the dreams you have, and they hold you to it. They hold you accountable. They're the mirror. Okay. Think about yourself. Think about the people you want to work with. Think about how you want your clients to view you as the obvious choice. Women come to me because they want to have their kids go to world-class schools around the world, something I've done. And I understand that if you put a kid at 4 years old in an independent school environment, you're going to pay $30,000 per kid. My kids are now, I have 3 kids. They are now 21, 24, and 27. And I've invested multi-millions of dollars in elementary through middle school. And I say this again, not in any way to be braggy. I say this because the women that want to work with me, they want to put their kids in an independent school. They want to build a business where money is no longer concerned. And they want to work with someone who has capacity for that. You got to think about yourself. And when someone wants to work with you, they want to get to know you. Does that make sense? They want someone that they can learn from and that they see themselves in. Okay, just saying. All right. So I hope this helps you 100% as well. So today, what I wanted to cover in this webinar is I wanted to share how you could turn your expertise into a high ticket offer. And I think I've done a pretty good job here, right, in doing that. Now, if you've been following along and you're like, Mia, this is great, how can you help me? And I'm going to open the floor for some questions in a minute. There are a couple of ways that I could support you. Number one, I absolutely can support you if you are action taker. Right? So if you're investment minded, if you are a person with expertise and you're at the top of your game and you want a mentor or coach that helps you see maybe what you do not see, you're great, but trying to put that in a package by yourself, a lot of times our brilliance is so close to us, we can't see it. So one of the first steps that you could take in terms of working with me would be my masterclass. It's incredible. It's been around. It's called the Giant Experience Master Training. And I'll put the link here in the comment section. It's thegiantexperience.com. And you should be able to see it now. Okay. Okay. So thegiantexperience.com. Okay. And it's my life's work in a weekend. So essentially it is a masterclass where I teach you how to package what you do at a very high level. I show you how to package you, not me teaching in a generic way. When you come, it's highly interactive. There's a lot of private advisement as I coach you in a group. But when I call you, I'm talking to you specifically about what it is that you do and how to package what you do. Then we look at how do you price and value the transformation that you bring to the table. And I think you will learn not only from how I'm coaching you, but when I'm coaching other women specifically on how to value what they do, you will learn also because of the likeness of our community. You will also learn how to position and market yourself in ways that you never really thought about, things that you may not have thought are available to you. I'll show you how to get in front of corporations. I'll show you equally how to start your coaching business from scratch, even if you have no email list, because you don't really need those things. If you have ads and you're running ads, we can look at those kinds of things and those options as well. But I show you how to position to get the word out. Maybe it's time for you to be a segment expert. Maybe you've been just like the best kept secret forever, and it's time to have some accountability around other ways for you to get out in the market. One of my clients, Deb, a mom coach also, and one of the things that I supported her with, among many things, is helping her to go from unknown, packaging what she did as a mom, and building her television personality, and be getting a segment on her local news station as a regular, right? So how cool is that? Maybe it's something like that, right? But I have tons of clients. I have another client, Connie, who came to the master class within, I think it was 6 weeks of attending, closed the first $25,000. That turned into a 6-figure deal. She then ended up during the Biden administration being called to do a presentation at the Biden administration. Gayle King equally interviewed her and what she does in terms of creating healing circles with her organization. You know, she recently signed a huge deal, and I'd rather not say live, but huge deal. This is a person who made a decision to come to the master training, learned how to package, price, position, and market herself, sell herself to others. So it can happen, it can happen pretty quickly. And lastly, I'll say you'll learn how to find buyers, how to close, how to sell, the many different ways that you need to in a format that's really simple, allows you to be yourself, not a car salesman, which is so important. But it's important because you do great work, and not to know how to close the work that you do, we don't leave any money on the table. One of the things that people love about my masterclass is the degree of intimacy that it has. It was in person, started in 2019. I've held it online since COVID and beyond. I've had hundreds of classes of the master training. It is an intimate experience where I get to know you and what you're doing, and I get to support you with packaging what you do at the highest level. And again, I've posted the link here. It's thegiantexperience.com. So the link is there for those of you who are watching this live. And I want to encourage you, that's a great first step. That's what we cover in terms of the topics. And the function is that over the course of 6 months, you get a license to the content. So you get to watch and rewind and replay the training. It's about 30 plus hours of training, teaching you anything from how to protect your IP to all the details of packaging and pricing, etc. So you can watch and rewind from the comfort of your home. But not just that, you also get 2 days live with me, a Friday evening and a Saturday, all day Saturday, Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and a Saturday from 10 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I coach and mentor you over the course of those 2 days live on Zoom. And people love it. It's one of the best things that I get to do. I get to know you, I get to see you, I get to hear you, and I get to support you in being able to elevate that which you do. So I highly recommend the Giant Experience Master Training. The investment is only $2,497. Every person that comes says to me that they would have paid double, triple that amount. Many of the women have come through the masterclass, no kidding, and sold 6 figures. We've had so many that have come through and done that. I can't again guarantee what you will do because it's all individual based on how people show up. But I can promise you this, that I'll give you the tools. I'll give you what you need so that you leave that event packaged, price, position, and finding buyers, and you'll know exactly what you need to do the following week to be able to go to market. And that means going to market whether you have a website or not, because you don't need those things in order for you to be able to start to command top dollars in your business. Everything that you learn at the master class is all about selling what you do for high ticket. Okay. And so you're not going to go to the master class and sell things for $500. That is not the nature of what it is. I teach women how to stand in their value and own what's great about them and know how to properly value those things and bring it to offer. So that's the first option that I have for you. And the second is for those of you who are like me. I've been watching you for a while, and I just want to I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'm going to give you a link here where you can simply book a clarity call with me. It's 15 minutes, and it'll be with me. And it is for you if you're ready to go, right? You go to miaredrick.com, apply for a clarity call, click there, and that'll give you the opportunity for us to have a conversation. And that conversation is around how I can support you with whatever the bottleneck is going on, and we can get you from idea to execution quickly. All right. I hope that you got tremendous value being here today. And I certainly have had tons of value from myself being here, sharing what I love. I want to open the floor for a minute or two. If there are any questions that I can answer for you, now is the time for you to post your question in the chat. So if there are questions, I'll answer them. I'll give you guys, a couple seconds for that. And if there are not any questions, totally fine with that, right? I'm so excited to have had the opportunity to be here today and to support you. And my goal was to support you with understanding how to package your knowledge into a high value product that you can sell online or offline, whether it's a coach or as a trainer or as a speaker. Everything is packageable at a very high level when you understand step by step how to do it. Last call, any questions you need to put in the chat. I'm happy to answer anything that you might have, but I want you to know this, that as a result of you being here today, that you can change your life. Your life literally could be unrecognizable the next 90 days if you take the action to package your knowledge into a high value product. If you decide to be a doer, right? Not just a hearer, but a doer, it will totally change your life. So I want to thank you for being here today. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you on the inside of the circle. I'll talk to you soon and have an amazing rest of your day.